Alright guys, I got this equalizer here. This is a 4-pin for Cobra and stuff. So this is a buddy of mine's, a local buddy of mine's. He wants to sell it, and I told him I'd try to help him sell it for him. It doesn't come with a cable because he didn't give me a power cable with it, so this is my cable. I can't offer it with it. I'm just offering the EQ only, and it does work. It does have the 48 volt board inside. That's what that board is right there, the one that's recessed up from the rest of the board, sticking up and screwed down. And then you have your XLR bias, so that controls the XLR plug on the back for a studio mic. If you switch that on, you have to power cycle the box, and then you'll see it'll come on the screen when you first power on. It'll say bias on or something along those lines. And then if you want to shut it off, then you have to do the same thing. Shut that switch off and then power cycle it. It's always best to leave your microphone disconnected whenever you're turning that on or turning it off. Don't plug the mic in until you have this thing up and running. That's my advice with these. I think it says that in the documentation from this guy too. I think these are made in Ukraine or something. So he's sold a lot of these. I know this guy more than this guy. I don't know if this guy's like a silent partner, this UX4LA. But this guy, he does most of the advertising, I think, for these guys. And I see this guy a lot on FT8, UR6QW. I think I worked him once already on FT8 on one of the bands, 20 or 40 or something. But anyhow, it does work. And but I can't test the XLR phantom power because I don't have a condenser mic, so nor do I have a mic that'll plug in here. So when you have this when you have this bias, this is going to send voltage out this plug to power a phantom mic here, like a condenser mic. I've never used one ever. I used to have one of these. I sold it. I took the screws off because I didn't know how to get this off. I don't think I had to take the top screws off to get it off though, but you know, it's been a while, so I'll put all the screws back in and stuff. But I don't think these are like out of this world fantastic, but they work. They're okay. What I will say is a lot of guys run into problems running these with amp when they're running linear amps and stuff, because things can get kind of squirrely then. Because you got to think of this thing as this has a lot of gain built into it, but you're still feeding it with a mic plug going into the radio's audio chain. So you're not defeating the radio's audio chain, you're adding to it. And if you add too much and you have it linear going and all that, it creates a lot of feedback. And sometimes that feedback gets into your audio and it just kind of ruins it, or you can start sounding like Darth Vader. or not really Darth Vader, but like the lightsabers, like the I don't know if guys, some of you guys might know what I'm talking about, but that can happen, and it's very, very annoying when that starts to happen. I don't know if it happens to everybody, but a lot of times with a lot of the newer radios, especially like the Anytones and Radio Oddities and stuff like that, they're a little more notorious for that when I think when you're running these. He had a lot of good times with this and a lot of bad times with this. It was like one day it worked great, the next day it was like, what the hell happened? And you didn't change one setting on it. So I don't know. It's not necessarily the EQ, it's just the way they're made. And like I say, you're putting a lot of gain from this into the circuit. You're better off just running like a power mic or something at that point and just let the radio circuit dictate how the radio sounds instead of trying to manipulate it with one of these. Because that's essentially what this thing does. It manipulates your audio circuit in your radio instead of directly injecting it and bypassing the regular what they designed and just going straight in. It has to go through the mic chain, which, you know, it is what it is, but that's the design of this thing. So I would much rather prefer if there was a way to get rid of this and take the output of this and go right into the audio circuit. And yeah, you could direct inject probably any radio like that, but a lot of guys don't want to do that stuff. These are simple. You can plug them in, and you know, and a lot of times it's more or less probably the distortion of AM and stuff, you know, with some of our amps and stuff. They're a little dirty, and they create a lot of distortion product that doesn't necessarily make you sound bad, but things like this are sensitive to that. And maybe if you got some of those Mix 31, the rings where you can wrap the wire around various times, that might alleviate some of that stuff. I don't know. But what I do know is, based on his experience, was this was very frustrating when he was running a pretty substantial amplifier of at least, you know, I think he had like a 2x8 or something over there, so a pretty big amplifier for, you know, for this area anyways. Some guys might laugh at that, but you know, I'm sure there's guys running more around here, but you know, it's not my business to know what guys run and what they don't. But you know, at the end of the day, if you can't run certain things, you know, you spend a lot of money on other pieces of gear. This is kind of an inexpensive piece to begin with, a couple $100 I think new. It is what it is, but it does work, and that's all I can really say. It's better probably to use it with like a normal CV, something where you can kind of complement the audio a little bit. Hello radio, 1 2 3 1 2 3. So you know, something like this would probably be better, or like a Cobra 29 or something, or just an old school radio, not really the newer stuff with the higher audio and all that high power. So, but you know, to each his own on what they want to run. I can't really hear myself on that monitor radio because there's skip coming in, but it does work. I will try to plug it into the mic tester really quick to show you guys. Yeah, so I got the little cheesy Roger beep on that comes with this thing, so beep. So I got a little echo running in the box. I can show you that right there. Oh, that's the EQ settings I have anyways. It's not anything special, but there's the echo. I don't know if it makes a difference if I do the delay. Check, 1 2. Yeah, a little bit different. Hello, 1 2. So we'll shut that stuff off. Shut that Roger beep off. You can kind of see the input and output. You can kind of see the levels that I have it set at, so it's not really crazy or anything, but 1 2 1 2, check check, hello. So you can see the compression. It doesn't have a ton, but we should notice a difference when I switch out of the EQ and go into the bypass setting. So let's do that. Here's the bypass. So 1 2 1 2, check check check. So there's the bypass. That's just the mic. It's definitely a flatter sound. We lost some of that, you know, the equalization to the audio. So I'll just kind of leave the camera here. You can see it's in pass. Now it's back to normal. So, and again, I'm not really an expert at adjusting that 10 band, but I think it sounds a little bit better, more natural, brings out a little bit more of my voice, and a little less of that real flat sound. So again, that's the pass-through sound right there, and then that's the EQ sound. I'm going to bring up the bass a little bit. Okay, there's with the bass up a little bit right there. And then I also brought the high end up with it, so 1 2 1 2. Kind of bringing up more of the bass. 1 2 1 2, check check. That's kind of like a pyramid effect almost, like it's high on one end and kind of middle, and then high on the other end. Check check check, hello. Okay, so you can do some stuff with these, you know, they're not like out of this world, but here's the pass through again. 1 2 3 4 1 2. I mean, this mic doesn't sound bad just by itself. So, and then here's with the EQ. 1 2 3 1 2 3, check check, hello. So it's not a real good demonstration, but it is something to show you guys that it works. And yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna put the screws back on it. I'll post this video. If anybody's interested, drop me a line on the email, on the website. If you already have my direct info to get a hold of me, then give me a text or something like that. It's fine, instant message, and I'll let you know kind of what he's looking to get out of it. I'll have to ship it unless you're close enough to come get it. That's an option too. You could just come and get it. but a lot of guys are out of state, so that's understandable. I'll have to ship it to you, so figure out what that would cost and kind of go from there. But he's looking for a certain amount. I try to get that for him, and if I can make maybe $5 for my time or something, then I'll try to make it. But I'm not looking to make anything or really get rich off of something like this. But unfortunately, I can't give you guys the cord because I don't have one that came with it. So you have to have your own cord. You need 5 volts from USB, or like you could plug a cord into a power pack that gives it like 5 volts. I don't know what the maximum rating is, but I know it needs about 5 volts, and that's what it's got. So you can see here really quick too, if we power this down and then power it back on, watch the screen. So you can see bias is off right now. So that's the only way I know to power the thing off is to unplug it. It's real fast, but you can see your bias is off. So, and I already checked this cable and it was exactly 5.2 volts out of that USB from my little mini PC there. So as long as you give it about 5 volts, it'll work. If you don't give it enough, it ain't gonna work right. So that's my understanding of that. There's a lot of guys that like these and do really good with them. Probably on your HF radios and stuff, they work okay. They make them for like ICOM and Yaesu, I think, that plug right in and all that. So, but I don't know. I just prefer running my studio mic into either directly into the radio, and that's why I like Kenwood so much for HF, because the Kenwood has built-in equalization and you can customize it and all that, so you don't really need to run an EQ outside the radio. I don't know what Yaesu has because I don't have any except the 891, and I don't really honestly remember with that one. ICOM, they're good, but they only have bass and treble, which kind of annoys me. I like to be able to adjust my mids too. I feel like they should put a mid option in their EQ setting, but they don't. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to a CB, like this or something, Cobra 29, stuff like that, I mean, yeah, you can definitely make it sound a little bit better, and I think a little more desirable with something like this. But I wouldn't go and, like I say, expect to run this on a hot rodded radio with a big amplifier setup, because I think you're going to run into like audio feedback problems and stuff like that. So just keep in mind, this is more like a tool than something that you should just totally build your station around. 73.